Japan, in the eyes of the world, looks like a perfectly functioning machine, a country where everything seems nearly flawless, cutting-edge technology, spotless cities without a trace of litter, and trains that operate with second-by-second precision. But behind this dazzling order, could there be another story hidden in the silence? A quiet tale of deep and dark concerns, a society quietly slipping into a demographic crisis, a place where loneliness is becoming an epidemic. In today's video, we will look into that silence and explore the unseen side of Japan, which is gradually losing its vitality. The chilling secrets, hidden in Japan's abandoned villages. Villages nestled deep in misty mountain ranges or along the edges of forests in Japan. These once vibrant places now remain only as quiet memories. These regions are quietly vanishing from Japan's vivid map, with abandoned houses, moss-covered roofs, and streets devoid of people. They are eerily known as ghost towns. Across Japan, there are currently more than 8 million vacant homes called akiya, konkija. These are not just houses without people, but symbols of cultural and demographic crisis. In some villages, only a few elderly residents remain, cooking with firewood, quietly sitting in front of ancestral altars waiting for descendants, who may never return. Places like Okutama, less than a 2-hour train ride from Tokyo, are a typical example of modern society in retreat. Schools have been turned into storage spaces, hospitals shut down years ago, and ancient shrines are buried under weeds. Every step along the mossy, slippery stone paths feels like passing through a time when the area was the heart of a community. Most of the remaining residents are elderly, living quietly as witnesses of time. There are no bus stops, no shops, and doors rattle with a single strong gust of wind. Yet inside those worn-out homes remain old wedding photos, stopped clocks, and radios that no longer broadcast. Each item is a fragment of the past, a testament to a bygone era. Not only the people, but also the culture of rural Japan, traditional festivals, bonodori dances, local dialects, and Shinto shrines are silently fading away. Many old temples no longer have head monks, summer festivals aren't held due to lack of organizers, and regional specialty dishes are vanishing for lack of cooks. The Japanese government has tried to revive the countryside with programs offering houses for free or a few $100s. But the biggest barrier lies in rebuilding communities and restoring basic public services. Without nearby jobs, schools, or hospitals, cheap houses alone cannot attract younger generations. The dark shadow behind strict discipline, overwork is crushing a generation. If there's one country in the world most admired for discipline and work ethic, it would be Japan. But behind that order, cleanliness, and near-perfect efficiency lies a quiet social pressure that weighs heavily on people's minds. Like a massive wave, it silently but powerfully consumes the lives of many. There's a unique Japanese word that explains it all: karoshi, guolaosi, death from overwork. This is not a symbolic idea, but a harsh reality. Many Japanese workers stay at the office late into the night, catching short naps on trains, or even collapsing at their desks. Leaving before the boss or taking long vacations could be seen as a lack of dedication. This pressure isn't limited to the workplace. In Japanese society, the group comes before the individual. From a young age, children are taught how to blend into the group, meet expectations, avoid causing trouble, and never make mistakes. While this enables smooth social functioning, it comes at the cost of mental health. Many young people fall into the state of hikikomori, shutting themselves in their rooms for months or even years. They cut ties with family and society, neither studying nor working. Recent statistics show that Japan has over 1.15 million hikikomori, an alarming figure. Behind the precisely run trains, spotless streets, and politely bowing staff are countless individuals fighting a strict system that suppresses personal emotions and allows no room for mistakes. Their hearts carry the weariness of this quiet battle each day. A nation of robots and tradition, but not a place for outsiders? As aging accelerates rapidly, many countries are turning to immigration as a solution, but Japan, steadfast in preserving tradition and national identity, has taken a very different path. Foreigners make up only about 3% of Japan's population, an extremely low figure among developed nations. Those hoping to stay long-term face numerous cultural hurdles, language barriers, strict etiquette rules, and sometimes the cold gaze of locals. This closed nature has led to a serious labor shortage. In rural areas, crops rot in the fields for lack of harvesters, and hospitals and care homes face a shortage of caregivers for the elderly. Small family-run businesses shut down due to a lack of successors. But the issue is not just about lacking manpower. Japanese society itself is partly to blame for limiting its own potential. In schools and workplaces, creative thinking is often overlooked, while conformity and hierarchy are prioritized. Many young talents have to give up their ideas simply because they don't fit the corporate culture or are too young. Even in the field of technology, which Japan takes great pride in, the country is falling behind in the race for innovation, AI, and digital advancement, lagging behind South Korea, China, and the US. The traditions Japan cherishes may now be turning into obstacles holding it back. The cold wave of population winter Japan, the world's fastest aging country. Today, Japan is living through what's called a population winter. Seniors aged 65 or older now make up over 28% of the population, making Japan the fastest aging nation on Earth. That means nearly 30 out of every 100 people are elderly, and that number is still growing. Meanwhile, the younger population is dwindling like a drying river. In 2023, Japan recorded fewer than 800,000 newborns, the lowest number in its history. There are many causes, but the most fundamental is that younger generations are sadly losing the motivation to have children. In major cities like Tokyo, high living costs, cramped housing, low wages, and unstable job contracts hinder marriage and childbirth. With an uncertain future, even the idea of raising kids becomes a challenge. To make matters worse, harsh work culture leaves almost no time for personal life. For many, marriage or becoming a parent now feels like a luxury found only in books. As a result, rural regions are slowly disappearing. Many villages are left with only the elderly, while schools, shops, and hospitals close due to lack of use. Tens of thousands of vacant houses, akiya, konkija, are left silently abandoned in nature, with no descendants in sight. The quiet ghostly shadow embedded in Japanese society. Behind its modern and progressive exterior, Japan remains a land where spirits, beliefs, and supernatural stories are deeply woven into daily life. Red torii gates deep in the forest, tiny shrines at the foot of mountains, and protective charms, omamori, carried in cars or on one's body can be found everywhere. But amid population decline, lonely elders, and lost youth in an unbalanced society, these spiritual beliefs have now become a refuge for unspoken pain. Many Japanese people, especially the elderly, believe that if a deceased soul fails to pass on, the house, village, or even a modern apartment they lived in could become haunted. In some rural areas, people refuse to inherit ancestral homes out of fear that the karma of those who died alone might be passed down. Ghosts, yurai, and vengeful spirits, onryo, are not just legends. They're a way the Japanese interpret their unease. Even many young people living as hikikomori speak of unseen presences, as if the mental darkness they face isn't only due to social pressure, but also part of a collective spiritual trauma. In a culture that believes in reincarnation and karma, a life without contributing to the community, without marriage, and lived in solitude is seen as an incomplete life, creating guilt and fear. This shows that beyond material solutions, subsidies, robots, policy reforms, Japan may need a deeper healing journey. Perhaps what the country truly needs isn't just administrative reform, but a kind of spiritual cleansing to stop the shadows of the past from dominating the present. Only then can younger generations move forward without the burden of unseen weights. What will Japan's future look like? Robots, the young generation, or both? Amid the waves of aging and population decline, Japan stands at a historic crossroads. Which path could be the answer? Will it maintain its closed nature to preserve tradition, or open its doors to the world and embrace the current of the times? One solution that has been discussed for years is easing immigration policies, not just allowing foreigners to work, but building a truly welcoming social ecosystem, including language, housing, education, and opportunities for long-term residents. But the biggest barrier is perception. Some citizens still fear that openness could dilute Japan's identity. When national pride becomes a barrier, diversity becomes something foreign. On the other hand, the Japanese government is promoting various policies to encourage childbirth. Cash support, tax cuts for families with young children, housing assistance, expansion of childcare systems, and even proposals for a 4-day work week to give young people time to build families. Yet the effects remain unclear. Because the root issue isn't money, but a system that doesn't prioritize quality of life. To bring real change, Japanese society must redefine the role of women. The old belief that becoming a mother means giving up a career must end. Personal happiness must be respected equally with work performance, and a safe environment must be created where young people can dream of having families. What will the future look like for Japan, the land of the rising sun? Technology will certainly play a key role: robots caring for the elderly, AI running smart cities, automated systems making up for labor shortages. But can a nation exist and grow without the human heart? What Japan may truly need now is not more machines, but a new social wind. One where young voices are heard, women can choose their own paths, and foreigners aren't just allowed, but become stakeholders in society. This change won't be easy, but it has already begun, quietly and slowly in a uniquely Japanese way. Now, only one question remains: will they arrive in time? Japan's future is no longer a distant topic. It's already revealing itself in the form of empty train stations, abandoned countryside villages, and deserted classrooms seen every day. A nation cannot survive on machines or technology alone. It needs people, change, and the courage to begin again. If you found this story meaningful, make sure to subscribe to the Eagle Discovery channel and turn on the notification bell. Let's continue exploring the world's deep stories together.